Oahu has no shortage of places to eat, and that's actually kind of the problem. You can spend hours scrolling through restaurant lists, TikToks, reviews, Yelp, and still not know exactly where to go. So today, I'm going to keep it simple. 5 places, 5 parts of the island to give you a great taste of the island of Oahu without turning your vacation into a restaurant scavenger hunt. Aloha and welcome to Hawaii's Best. I'm Brian Murphy, Hawaii destination expert and your personal guide to planning an unforgettable trip to Hawaii. I want to be as clear as I can up front. This is not a definitive guide of the 5 best restaurants on Oahu. Food is way too personal for that. Some people want the best poke. Some want a sit-down dinner with a view. That's more my style, honestly. And some want traditional Hawaiian food. Some are traveling with kids and just need a place that's quick, that works after a long beach day. So this episode is a little bit more practical. I'm going to give you 5 picks across the island. So I divided it up with 1 on the west side, 2 in Honolulu and Waikiki, 1 in Kailua, and 1 on the North Shore. So the goal is simple. If you're planning an Oahu trip, this gives you a short list of places worth considering based on where you'll actually be. And a quick note before I get started, restaurant hours, menus, some of those are seasonal and wait times can change. So always check directly before you go. And after this episode, you might want to take a listen to this past Tuesday's episode where I gave you a quick 10-minute Oahu travel guide and what to expect, especially if this is your first time. All right, first up, let's go head over to the west side. Again, this isn't in any particular order, but the first one up on the west side in Ko'olina is Monkey Pod Kitchen. This one, I had to put on the list because this is a personal favorite of mine, my family, probably because we can find something here that we all love to eat. Personally, I love the bulgogi pork tacos and their garlic fries with aioli sauce. It's amazing. I usually do a Mai Tai first, and then second round, I get the noko'oi. I know this is not some hidden hole-in-the-wall spot. It's kind of expensive. They do have a great happy hour. It's close to the resort, so Aulani, we stay at the Marriott over there, but that's also why it works well for a lot of travelers. You get a good vacation atmosphere, live music on certain days, I think most days actually, a lively setting and menu that works for different people in your group. Because sometimes on a Hawaii trip, especially if you're traveling with family, if somebody loves Simon and someone wants a cheeseburger, you can get that at Monkey Pod. So my simple take is this: if you're on the west side and you want one dinner that feels like vacation without overthinking, Monkey Pod is the pick. All right, now let's head to Honolulu, and any food list without Helena's Hawaiian food is incomplete in my opinion. So this is the traditional Hawaiian food stop on the list. Helena's has been around since 1946 and it received a James Beard America's Classic Award in 2000. But what matters more than the award is what this place represents. It's not just a trendy restaurant built for Instagram. It's not trying to be flashy. It's a long-running family restaurant serving Hawaiian food in a very real traditional way. Some of their must-try dishes would be the Kailua pork, their luau squid, poi, lomi salmon are just some of the top picks. And I think this is a good moment to make a quick distinction. Hawaiian food and local food are not always the same. Local food in Hawaii can include plate lunches, saimin, lokomoko, musubi, shave ice, poke, and all kinds of foods shaped by the many cultures that make up Hawaii today, kind of a melting pot. Hawaiian food is rooted in native Hawaiian tradition. So if you're visiting Oahu and you want to experience that part of the food culture, Helena's is a strong place to start. My quick tip here is to go with someone who likes to share food. This is the kind of meal where you want a few things on the table, try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and don't rush it. If you only choose one place on Oahu for traditional Hawaiian food, Helena's is the one I definitely would recommend. All right, the next pick, the second Honolulu and Waikiki pick, and that is Magura Brothers. This is a fresh fish pick on the list. They have a Chinatown location and a Waikiki location, so it can work for different types of visitors wherever you're staying. The Chinatown location is more of a daytime stop, whereas the Waikiki location is helpful if you're staying in the area and want something better than another expensive sit-down restaurant like a Cheesecake Factory. Maguro Brothers is a place for poke bowls, sashimi bowls, and fresh fish without making the whole meal complicated. And that's why I really like it for this short list. Not every meal on Oahu or any of the islands has to be long or a sit-down experience. Sometimes you just want some really good fish, especially if you're visiting the islands, and that's really the whole point here. If your group is staying in Waikiki and you're tired of looking at menus that all start to feel and sound the same, Maguro Brothers gives you a focus, fresh option, fresh fish, simple setup, easy to understand. This is the pick for the person who says, I just want some really good fish. All right, next up for Kailua, the pick is Over Easy. This is your breakfast or brunch stop before a long beach day in Kailua. By the way, if you do want to do a beach day in Kailua area, I definitely would recommend Waimanalo Beach. They have the same sand as Lanikai, the same views as Lanikai, and they also have facilities there. More importantly, there's actually parking there, whereas there's barely any parking at Lanikai. All right, I digress. But if you're planning to spend time in Kailua, maybe walking around town, heading to the beach, Over Easy fits that day perfectly. It's casual, it's local feeling, it's not trying too hard, and it gives you a solid start before your day out in the sun or whatever you have planned for that day. This is the kind of place I'd recommend if you're doing a slower windward side morning, get breakfast, grab coffee, walk around Kailua, then maybe head up north a little bit. But a couple things to know. Over Easy is not open every day, and they don't take traditional reservations at the time of this recording. That's pretty normal for a good breakfast spot in a popular town. So don't build your entire day on a tight schedule. You want to give yourself some room. If your Kailua day starts with Over Easy, you're definitely doing it right. All right, and last on this list for the North Shore, maybe you do Over Easy in the morning and you kind of slowly make your way up to the North Shore and you head up to Haleiwa. This is our top pick up there. This is Haleiwa Beach House. Now, I could have easily made the North Shore pick a shrimp truck, and there's nothing wrong with that. Garlic shrimp is one of those classic North Shore food experiences. But for this episode, I wanted the North Shore pick to be a sit-down meal, something with a view, something that works if you're spending the day around Haleiwa, Waimea Bay, or the nearby beaches, and you just want to slow down for lunch or dinner. And that's really where Haleiwa Beach House fits. It gives you more of a relaxed North Shore meal without making things too formal. It is a bit expensive, but it's a nice sit-down restaurant. You get the beach town setting, you get ocean views, and a menu that works for a lot of people. Again, we'll go with family, and everyone is happy when we go to the beach house. It's also a good option if you've been out all day and don't want to eat standing next to a food truck, especially if you're with kids, older parents, or a group that needs a more comfortable stop. The big thing I want you to know is that it is popular. They're currently walk-ins only, so we've had to wait kind of long a couple times, but more often than not, we usually get a table pretty quickly. But I think that's a good rule for North Shore in general. Traffic, parking, beach, crowds, food lines, all of it can get longer than you expect. So for a North Shore sit-down meal with the view, Haleiwa Beach House is definitely my top pick. All right, so quick recap. West Side, Monkey Paw Kitchen in Ko'olina. Honolulu, Helena's Hawaiian Food. Also, you got Maguro Brothers in Chinatown and Waikiki. Kailua, you have Over Easy. And North Shore, Haleiwa Beach House. I think that gives you one strong food stop in each part of the island without trying to turn every meal into a major production. And really, that's the point. You don't need to eat at every famous restaurant on Oahu to have a great trip. Just pick a few great places, match them to the part of the island that you're already visiting or you have plans to, because no matter where you go, there's always going to be a great food stop on any of the islands. And I should mention, you want to leave time and just space for random food stops that you didn't plan on. Sometimes those end up being the best meals that you talk about the most. And that's it for today's episode of Hawaii's Best. If this helped you, go ahead and hit follow on your podcast app for more Hawaii trip planning tips. And if you've eaten at one of these spots or there's a spot you think belongs on the list, because I'm sure some of you are going to come after me and say, why didn't you include, whatever. That's all good. That's part of the fun. So I love to hear from you. And until the next episode, as always, live with aloha. Mahalo for listening to Hawaii's Best. If you found today's episode helpful, make sure to hit follow on your podcast app so you don't miss future episodes. You can find all links and resources mentioned today in the show notes below. Hawaii's Best is produced by Shorebreak Media Group, edited by Easy Podcast Solutions, and with music by our friends Stick Figure.